The first round of talks between Iran and the United States and Oman have concluded, and both sides have agreed to continue with the negotiations. But before we get you more details on this, there's more breaking news that's coming in from the United States, where just moments ago, the US has announced new sanctions to curb Iran's oil exports. Washington has announced sanctions on 15 entities that have traded in Iranian origin crude oil, petroleum products or petrochemical products. The US State Department has also said that it has identified 14 shadow fleet vessels as property of entities involved in the transportation of Iranian petroleum and other products. Now, this announcement has come just minutes after the first round of Iran-US talks in Oman concluded. The United States has not made a statement on the talks yet, apart from announcing its latest wave of sanctions. Now, before this development, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has called the Oman-mediated talks to be a good start. He further said that both sides have agreed to continue the talks.
As a whole, I can say it was a good start, but whether we can continue this depends on consultations in the capitals and decisions to be made there. There was agreement on continuing the talks, but the time and manner of the talks will be determined after further consultation through Mr. Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi, God willing.
Now, the US envoy Steve Witkoff and Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi led their respective delegations. The Iranian state media described the talks as indirect, and there was no indication yet that the Iranian and the American officials meeting directly. Images published by the Oman Foreign Ministry showed both the sides meeting separately, with Oman's Foreign Minister Badr bin Hamad al-Busaidi. Now, the heart of the negotiations is Iran's nuclear program, particularly its uranium enrichment activities, while Tehran insists the Oman-mediated talks will be centered solely on its nuclear program. Washington also wants to discuss Tehran's backing for the militant groups in the region and also its ballistic missile program. However, Araghchi has insisted again post-talks that the discussions focus solely on nuclear issues. All right, now to give us more updates on this, we are joined in this broadcast by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's been tracking all the developments for us from New York. Susan, tell us more about these sanctions that have been imposed by the American side. Is this a message that the United States is sending out in the aftermath of the talks that have concluded in Oman today?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, Mohammed, considering the fact that a new Wall Street Journal report claims that the Iranians did not agree to export any of their enriched uranium to a third country. One of the issues that the Trump administration had during the talks, and it was on the table to hold discussions with the Iranians indirectly with the help of Oman. It also shows that the United States is continuing with its maximum pressure policies, not just deploying that armada of troops, as President Trump said, to the Middle East region around Iran, but also really regarding these sanctions as well. Now, it's important to note that these vessels that the State Department is referring to, they're non-flagged Iranian vessels. They don't belong. They're just shadow fleets. They don't belong to another country. And usually, when they export Iranian oil, they turn their transmitters off so they're not identifiable. And considering the fact that Iran is selling its petroleum one way or the other, as the Treasury Secretary mentioned yesterday, the United States can't track that efficiently because Iran is not part of the SWIFT banking system. It's sanctioned from the SWIFT banking system that the international community uses. So it uses these shadow fleets that are foreign-owned, foreign-flagged tankers to help transport Iranian oil and possibly Iranian money as well.
And at this moment, Susan, have you heard anything from the American side about the future course of talks? The talks that took place happened indirectly. That is to say that the American representative did not sit across the table with the Iranian representative for the talks. How does the United States intend to take these negotiations forward?
So we haven't heard directly from the administration, but as I mentioned, there is that Wall Street Journal report that indicated that it doesn't seem like there was any kind of agreement on American demands, at least the demand that was very important for the Americans, and that was for Iran to export its enriched uranium to a third country. But also, it's important to note that, it seems like it's giving two sides a breathing room, considering the fact that these talks are happening in the backdrop of the Winter Olympics. And many experts and military experts believe that it's very unlikely that the United States would move for any kinetic attack against Iran, or Iran, for its part, would do something like that during the time of the Olympics, and because the skies are so vulnerable between the United States and Iran, and of course the Middle East as well. So, that's just something to think about, but we're probably going to get a statement from the Americans pretty soon. They did say that they both agreed, according to reports, to continue these talks. What that means, well, who knows?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with all those updates then. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.